Hello, motherfuckers, and welcome back to my podcast. If you are listening right now, you are now tuned in to Bells Be Speaking, and I am your host, Coriel, aka Bells. If you are not new here and you already knew my name, I just reminded you so you never forget it. But thank you for coming back for another episode. I'm very happy to have you here. And if this is your first time listening, welcome. Before we get into this, I'm going to go ahead and go on my disclaimers. I do cuss and I do say hard curse words. So if you don't like that, I suggest you go ahead and click off this podcast because I'm not going to change that. Y'all already know me by now. But again, if you don't, just letting you know. Number 2 is if you have on headphones or you are listening to me on speaker, just keep in mind that I may have some loud outbursts. I am a passionate speaker and I do tend to, get loud sometime when that's coming out of me, the passion. So you might want to turn it down or just be aware of your volume if you don't want to disturb yourself, if you don't want to disturb other people or give yourself that unexpected rise in volume in your ear, like that ear, when it get loud out of nowhere and it hurts your ears. Third and final disclaimer that I'll say before I hop right into this episode is if you are someone that does not prefer to hear or listen to someone that has their own opinion, their own strong opinion, where someone that is giving their opinion doesn't walk on eggshells, they're not worried about people pleasing, they ain't worried about no fucking cancel culture, which is just, to me, cancel culture is just a way of getting people into people pleasing. But that's another episode. If you don't like somebody that's going to give a real honest opinion and stand on it, then you probably shouldn't listen to this episode or this podcast at all, because that's not me. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to say what I mean and say it passionately with oomph and go forward. And I don't care if you don't agree. I don't care if it's offensive. I don't care if it's something that you don't believe in yourself, whatever the fucking case may be. So yeah, if you don't like to hear opinions like that, if you like somebody that's a yes man or that's just gonna go along with what you say, or you think your way is just the right way, click off. Okay? Now, that's enough for the disclaimers. So this episode, I just want to talk on this real quick because I just had this epiphany, okay? And it's about not falling into the illusion of the guilt trap, okay? Not falling into the guilt trap. Don't fall for the guilt trap. Don't fall into the illusion of the guilt trap. And I just had this epiphany for myself because I realized that I've been experiencing it, it being the restrictive nature of guilt or feeling guilty for something, for having what you want, for being happy, for a statement for this episode, it would be, to sum up this one episode, the statement would be, I don't need to feel guilty for having what I want. Okay, so this is what I wrote. This is the epiphany that I had, okay? Well, this episode is descriptive of the epiphany that I had, and then this statement here that I wrote down, or this paragraph rather that I wrote down, is what I wrote after I, you think through your head first and then you write down your conclusion. So this is the conclusion that I came to, okay? I don't feel guilty or bad for being happy or for having what I want, ever. And I don't ever need to. Feeling guilt or guilty is just a way of saying or thinking that I don't deserve it, that specific thing or something overall or in general. And that is exactly what I'm trying to get at in this episode and the point that I'm making. And I think I didn't realize that it was guilt for me because, you've heard of that before, I feel like we hear the word, but I don't think when it comes to like actually applying it in terms of basic, like, everyday thing, if you say it a different way, you won't realize that the thing that's actually bothering you is guilt. So for me, I used to just say, used to think of it like feel bad. I didn't say the word guilt, So instead of saying I don't have to feel guilty for being happy, it would just be like, oh, I don't have to feel bad for being happy. I don't have to feel bad for being this. I don't have to feel bad for that. But that switch of just saying, okay, no, it's not just feeling bad, it's feeling guilty. Because saying feel bad, like, it depends on how you speak. It depends on how you think, how you talk, like what words mean to you, what type of stuff you say in your head and out loud, and what it means to you. Because feeling bad, to me, that can be like, that phrase has a spectrum. It can be feeling a little bit bad, it can be feeling really bad, and it can be for something that's simple or something that's really important. So changing it and saying, okay, feeling guilty, because at the root of feeling guilty is feeling like you don't deserve something. That has been a different changer for me, because it's like, or a eye opener for me, because realizing that in itself, that I don't have to feel guilty and that I'm not going to feel guilty for being happy and having what I want, automatically makes me like realize in my mind, I know for a fact I won't self-sabotage it. I won't think against it. I won't feel resistance towards it. I won't feel like it doesn't belong. I won't feel like something is wrong with it, because now I know for a fact I'm not making myself feel as though I don't deserve something inadvertently or subconsciously. I'm supposed to be happy. You know, I think a lot of times when you're a good person, like, the way we won't see guilt for what it actually is because, or the reason why we won't see guilt for what it actually is, I feel like the way it works sometimes is guilt will try to make you feel like you a bad person and like you doing something wrong, or like, you know, like you're wrong, like you're being bad. And the trick of it, like the caveat of it is, if you're feeling guilt, it's usually because you're a good person. You're coming from a good place. You're coming from a good intention. You're not intentionally, you know, trying to hurt somebody or take something away from people, you know. But the guilt, the way it'll disguise itself is by, in my experience, guilt will try to present itself and reason itself as logic. So you'll think of, all the different reasons or different, like, what about this? And then they gonna feel like this. And then what if this happened? And then this and this and that. And it'll look like you're just being reasonable. You're just being logical. You're just analyzing the situation and just thinking about weighing your options or whatever, or just looking at it from different perspectives, or you're trying to be fair, or you're trying to be this. But all of that is just, if you think about it, I think of an analogy. So for my visual people and for my analogy type of people, think of it like this. Imagine like the top of a mountain, right? The peak is at the top of the mountain, and then as you work your way down the mountain, it spreads out and it gets bigger, right? Like a pyramid, right? Mountain pyramid, whatever. So at the top of that pyramid, this is how my mind thinks, at least, is the actual statement, the bottom line. Not the bottom of the mountain or the bottom of the pyramid is the bottom line. The top of the pyramid is the bottom line. And the bottom line is, I feel guilty for having what I want. I feel guilty for being happy. I feel guilty for doing what I want to do, for picking myself. I'll feel guilty for putting myself first, whatever it is, right? And as you work your way down that mountain, it'll drop down from that bottom line and feel its way out into what our mind thinks is reasoning, so logical reasons. And at the bottom of the mountain, you know, it's, this person will feel upset. This person will be left out. This will happen. I might trigger this. This person might not ever get that. Whatever your freaking reasonings is, or your reasonings are as to why this will make you feel guilty, aka why this will make you feel like you don't deserve something. When in actuality, the only reason why those are coming up in your mind, those ideas or those perspectives or whatever are coming up in your mind, is because you're giving them the premise of what to go off of, being that you don't deserve something. So if you feel like you don't deserve something, all your mind is going to do is give you evidence and reasons as to why, okay, yeah, here's why you don't deserve it. Whereas if you change that whole perspective from the root, from the bottom line at the top of the mountain, changing that from I feel guilty or I feel bad. No, I'm not going to feel bad for being happy. No, I'm not going to feel guilty for having what I want. No, I'm not going to feel like I'm doing something wrong, or I'm supposed, feeling like you're supposed to do something else. No, I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be fulfilled. Life is supposed to be easy. And I think the reason why I said, I started off on this statement, but I didn't finish it, that people who feel guilt, or people that are feeling guilt, are usually the ones that are good people, is because that's what it starts off as. Like, you don't want to, you're not intentionally trying to hurt someone or for do anything. Like, you're a good person. So you might think that being guilty and carrying guilt is the good thing to do, but it's not. It's literally not. Like, bad people don't feel guilt. People that are negative, that are intentionally wicked, that are intentionally doing the wrong ones, like the ones that should feel the guilt, don't be feeling the guilt, if that makes sense. And you should not, I should not, we should not feel like being happy is somehow the wrong thing to do. Somehow it's not important if I'm happy, somehow it's only fair if it's unfair to me. It's only fair if somehow I get less, because if I get what I want and what's fair to me, then that's going to be unfair to everybody else. Like, you don't have to sacrifice yourself. I don't have to sacrifice myself. We don't have to sacrifice ourselves for the overall, I couldn't even say the good of other people. It's like trying to protect other people from being unhappy when in actuality they already are unhappy, if you really think about it, or whatever the case may be. Like, everybody's situation is going to look different, but trying to protect and avoid something, so sacrificing myself instead, like, that's not necessary. A lot of times, because you're a good person, you'll think like, okay, well, since other people, and not even just you, sometimes it could be from how other people try to make you feel, or what you saw growing up in your environment. Like, if you grew up in an environment or was exposed to environments, like whether it be via TV, music videos, overhearing stories people told, or whatever, however you were exposed to it, the concept of crabs in the bottom of the barrel. So thinking that, okay, well, everybody else ain't happy, like, how come maybe I don't deserve it because I'm the only one that get to have this, or I'm the only one that get to do this and they don't get to have it. And you might think that bringing yourself down and lessening your experience or worsening your experience and being less happy and not having as much to not exceed other people, feeling like because somebody else is unhappy, or that other people generally are unhappy, like you're not supposed to have it, or because then it's gonna be rubbing it in their face, or whatever the case may be. Like, no, our goal and our only obligation really is to be happy. Like, you don't get good person points or cool points for joining in on the misery, for joining in on the lack and not having more. Like, sometimes people feel like they'll lose their relatability, or people won't resonate with them no more. They won't be likable if they aren't able to relate, so they'll rather suffer just so they can stay relatable, rather than being happy and have what they want and possibly be isolated or not a part of the group, like, which is what isolated means. But I'm just trying to say it from different ways, because for me, seeing it from a different perspective, even though it might be the same thing, is what makes stuff click for me sometimes. So hearing something being said in a different way or as a different word will make it click. But that's not necessary, because at the end of the day, all you gonna do once you get to that place where you're lessening yourself or robbing yourself for something or taking something away from yourself to match or lower yourself down to the level that you think is more deserving, once you get to that level, like the lower level that you don't really want to be on, all you're gonna do is see from that perspective another reason why to be unhappy. It's a slippery slope that just keeps going down and down and down and down and down. And it does not benefit you, and it does not benefit the people that you think is going to benefit either, because then you just become a version of you that feels unworthy. So you're going to be acting from a place of like unhappiness because you're not happy. Like, you think that being unhappy is the noble thing to do. Like, just like how sometimes I feel like people think that struggling or being broke or going through hardships and having hard times makes you more valuable, or makes you, like, some people, I don't know why this has been a notion that has gotten popular, but I feel like it needs to stop because it's so poisonous. But thinking that the more hardships or the more struggle you go through, or the broker you are, the more or the more noble you are, or, oh, it's the smaller things in life. And, it's like the people that have, like, glorifying and glamorizing the struggle, and glamorizing and glorifying unhappiness and pain and stress and hardship. Like, oh, he broke his back every damn day, and he worked hard and didn't ask for nothing. He never went out. He never did this. Like, no, like, we are supposed to be fucking happy. Like, feeling like the people that are unhappy and broke and struggling are the ones that are the most deserving, and the ones that are the opposite, the ones that are happy, that are having what they want and sustained in life and things like that. Like, they're the ones that are doing something wrong somehow. Like, we don't have to demonize being happy and being privileged and having a good life just because a lot of other people didn't get to experience it. You don't have to demonize something just because the majority of people didn't get to experience it. So fucking what? So fucking what? Does it mean that it doesn't matter that they didn't experience it? No. You can still feel bad that someone else didn't get to experience something and enjoy it for yourself. Like, just because there's people that are starving in some third world countries doesn't mean that I need to just be like, oh, I'm never going to eat again. Oh, these people don't have a house. I'm never going to have a house again. You don't have a house. I should live on the street too. You're starving. I should be starving too. You unhappy. I should be unhappy too. Like, no, that doesn't make you more noble. That just makes you them. If anything, the only thing that makes you more noble is helping somebody possibly get out of that situation, if anything. But it's not like you're obligated to do that. But you damn sure are not going to get more cool points because you bring yourself down, like, or because you keep yourself away from happiness. Like, how the hell can you make anybody happy or be happy or experience anything good or show people what it's like or anything like that? I feel like I already said that, but how the hell are you going to do that if you are unhappy? You're not going to have no experiences, no kind of nothing that reflects that. Like, I hope I'm making sense when I'm saying it, but feeling guilty and falling down that perspective, that illusion is a trap. Like, here are all the ways as to why I'm undeserving, and then from there, now I'm going to act on it. And not do this because I don't deserve this. I'm not going to go here because I don't deserve to have that. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. They ain't have it. I shouldn't have it. Like, what the fuck? No. That is not what we're supposed to do. And that doesn't make you somehow a better person or, more valuable, or like, oh, you going right to heaven. Like, sacrificing yourself is just sacrificing yourself. It don't mean it's going to magically change anything else for anybody else. People still going to be suffering whether you're in it or not, because it's a perspective shift. Nobody will ever change anything in their lives or change their experiences or whatever else it may be until they change their perspective. So whether you have that same perspective as them or not doesn't change the fact that they still have the perspective that's keeping them where they are. Whether you at the top of the mountain, the middle, or the bottom, whatever perspective they have is going to control what they see, not your positioning. Your positioning is not responsible for someone else's happiness. My positioning, my stance, my positioning, my location is not responsible for someone else's perspective. Me being happy or unhappy is not responsible for someone else's perspective or experiences. Your perspective is responsible for your experiences. Their perspective is responsible for their experiences. Not my happiness, not my unhappiness, not me feeling guilty or unguilty, none of that. Like, if anything, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Whether I'm happy or unhappy, you still got that perspective that you have. You still have that belief system, those assumptions, those actions, that personality. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm in Boston or Timbuktu, bitch, if you still are feeling like a down and out person that don't deserve shit. Whether I'm here or there, you still gonna be experiencing the same shit because that's who you are and that's how you walking around in this world. So I don't need to take away from myself to make me feel like I'm being better to like soften the blow or something when your ass is still getting blown. Like, do that make sense? Like, me making myself less happy is not gonna soften the blow. You're still gonna get fucking hit. So if anything, because you're already hitting yourself, you're positioning yourself to be hit by your perspective. If somebody really want to be happy, then they'll change their perspective and come up to the top of the mountain or the side of the mountain or the right or the corner. It don't even just got to be top or bottom. Which is why it's so important for us, for me, for you listening, for whoever you might share this with, to take control of our perspective and make sure that I am not putting myself in a perspective or in a position that says I don't deserve. Because then once I do that, now I have to deal with the experiences and evidence and everything else that goes hand in hand with, oh, I don't deserve this. And how does that turn out? Not having what you want, being disappointed, being unhappy, so on and so forth, aka what you don't want, because you inherently feel like you're not good enough and you don't deserve nothing. That's what you're moving away from. So yeah, that's just what I want to talk about. I'm not gonna feel guilty or bad for being happy or for having what I want or for progressing or nothing like that, because yes, I deserve what I want. And like I said, in my perspective, feeling guilty is just telling yourself, I don't deserve this. I shouldn't have this. I shouldn't. What I'm supposed to do. All these fucking rules that somebody made. You're supposed to just sacrifice this and sacrifice that. Like life is supposed to just be so fucking hard and unhappy. Just because that happened for the long haul for a long time before I was in the picture doesn't mean that that's the way that it has to keep fucking being. Just because we rode horses back in the day don't mean that we gotta still ride horses today. That's why we have Teslas and we have Benzes and all other kinds of cars. Like, just because motherfuckers walked to school every damn day back in the day and they didn't have no streets to get there, they just had dirt roads, don't mean that that's the way that it still has to be now. Now we have school buses. Now we have carpooling systems. Now we have moms that take their kids to school in vans in the fucking mornings. Like, just because something was one way for a long time doesn't mean that that's the way it's supposed to be or how it's supposed to be treated if you don't want it to be like that anymore. Ain't nobody finna sit here and tell me, oh, just because, oh, well, I didn't get to ride in air conditioning and I didn't get to the store in 5 minutes back in the day. I had to ride on a horse and we had to pull a wagon and sweat and fight the flies and everything else for us to make it to the grocery store. That don't mean that I'm finna do the same fucking thing or ride a bike there. I'm still gonna get in my car, crank the air on and drive to the store and get there in 5 minutes and just be like, okay, well, I get your point, but that's just how it was back in the day. Now things are different now because I'm in a different time. I don't need to sacrifice myself and go through the same shit that you went through for me to be somehow a better person or to not look a certain type of way. Like, fuck all of that. Fuck that. All of that is just extra that can resistance. That can weigh you down and keep you away from what it is that you actually want, that you're actually supposed to be, which is happy. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. We don't have to feel bad for wanting what we want. Like, it's there for a reason. Yes, I can have what I want. Yes, I can be happy. Yes, I can be successful. And no, I'm not gonna, for me especially, like for me, as in Coriel, I'm not feeling bad about shit. I ain't feeling, and this is something that I've carried around for a long time, especially growing up in a fucking household for a few years with other siblings and having it, we gotta share and be. I never gave a fuck about sharing. I never gave a fuck about being fair. It was just I was forced into it, and I was being told oh, this is being nice and this is how you're supposed, like all of these different rules and shit. But if I came from a different household, like let's say for instance I came from a household where I was the only child, I wouldn't have heard no shit like that. I wouldn't have been exposed to no shit like that because there would have been nobody for me to fucking share with. And I realized that. And I'm like, okay, I don't have to, like, I hated that. Oh, everybody, we got to be fair. And to me, even in school, like, fair was always just a way of saying here's a nice reason as to why I have to take away from you or take away from myself to give to somebody else. Oh, well, we have to be fair. No, the fuck we don't. Then I would turn around and hear people in movies adult movies or adult TV shows or even just adult conversations, and people say, oh, life ain't fair. So if that's the case, then who is it being unfair to? Because one hand you saying, oh, we got to be fair and we got to be, share and all of this other shit. And then on the other hand, you got people saying that ain't nothing fair. So if that's the case, then that means that somebody is getting fair and somebody is getting unfair. And I am choosing to no longer be the one that gets the unfair. Coriel is not getting unfair. Coriel and anything else that I choose to be affiliated with me, I am no longer getting unfair to be fair to other people. I don't have to take away from myself to be good to somebody else. Fuck that. Like, that shit pisses me off so fucking bad, because I feel like it's so emotionally impactful for me, because I was really under the veil that it was what you needed to do to be a good person. Like, this is what you do to be good. This is what you do to be right. Like, this is the right way to do it. No, the fuck it's not. Like, do you see anybody in school systems? Do you know how fucked up the school systems would be if they was to get to school and be like, you know what? In observation of the students that are in the same grade as you on the other side of the world right now that don't have access to clean water and don't have access to food, the cafeteria is shut down today. Y'all are not getting breakfast. Y'all are not getting lunch. Y'all are not getting a snack. And the water fountains are shut down because the kids across the world, they don't have it, so y'all shouldn't have it. Do you know how many fucking parents will be up at that school beating the walls down, beating the doors down? Like, what the fuck? Y'all not feeding my baby? Y'all ain't giving them water? What the fuck you mean she can't use the bathroom? I don't give a fuck. Like, you would be like, I don't care that those kids don't have a toilet. My kid needs to use the bathroom, so go to the bathroom. My son is not about to piss on himself in class. My daughter is not about to piss on herself in class because you think you're making them some sort of noble people by stripping them away from what it is that they need and what they have. Does it mean that, oh, the kids over there deserve to have that? No, not once am I saying, aha, that's what they get. But I'm also not about to sit here and tell my child that had homework last night and soccer, whatever the fucking case may be. Everybody got their own life, but just their own existence. I'm not going to tell my child that their existence is less important or that they don't deserve something because somebody else's existence doesn't have it, right? That would be absurd. That would be craziness, right? Okay, so that's how it looks when we do that to ourselves by thinking that, oh, because I'll feel guilty or somebody else will feel bad or they'll be jealous or they'll get depressed or it'll remind them of what they don't have because I have what I want. I'm not about to be hungry just because you're starving. You can go and get food too, or you can position yourself in a new place where there's food. People move from one country to the next all the time. You know what I'm saying? You get a passport if you want to move from the United States somewhere. If you want to move from somewhere else and move to the United States, you get a visa. Or you travel. Or some people just fucking illegally immigrate. But either way it goes, that's on them. They do what they need to do to position themselves to get what they want. If I'm in a country or an area where there's no clean water and food, instead of saying that to solve the problem, everybody in the world should stop eating, I'm going to move my family across the world to a new country where there's free food and free water and clean water and healthcare and toilets and working systems where I can support my family. And then we'll have what we want. And then now I can watch recipe videos and cooking videos that people have put on Instagram so I can know what to cook. So I can know what to try. Because if nobody tried that, if everybody followed that perspective, like, I wouldn't have anything to cook. Nobody will be making cooking videos. No food companies will be open. You get what I'm saying? Like, If everybody was thinking that they had to be like me for the world to be fair, then we all will be fucking struggling and down and out. Somebody has to be happy. Somebody has to set the tone so the people that's at the bottom of the unhappy can work their ass up or work their way towards to what it is that they want. But the person that is happy is not responsible for the unhappy. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm going to leave it here because I really wanted this episode to only be 10 minutes long. But now I'm looking at my phone and it says 35 minutes. So, I'm going to leave it here. And yes, again, we don't need to be unhappy. We don't need to feel guilty. Coriel is definitely not. I'm not giving up shit just to make somebody else feel good. Because they ain't finna do that shit for me. And even if they was... That's it. Thanks so much for listening. I love y'all, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.